Many people think that to change your life, you need to do something huge. They believe big results only come from big actions. Maybe you want to be healthier, or learn a new skill, or do better at your job. So you think you must make a massive change all at once. This idea can feel very scary. It can make you feel like you cannot start. Because big changes are hard, many people do not even try. They wait for the perfect moment, or for a big burst of energy. But this perfect moment often never comes, and so things stay the same. The truth is, real lasting change often comes from small things. It comes from tiny improvements you make every single day. These small steps might not seem like much at the time, but over weeks and months and years these little changes add up. They build on top of each other, like putting one small brick on another to build a big house. This is a much gentler way to change. It is less scary and much easier to keep going. It is about progress, not perfection from day one. So let's forget the idea that you need a giant leap to make a difference. Instead, let's think about small, steady steps. Think about making things just a tiny bit better each day. This is the secret to making big changes that actually last a lifetime, not just for a few weeks. Let's talk about a simple idea, getting just 1% better each day. What does this mean? It means making a very small improvement in something you want to change. If you want to read more, maybe you read for just 1 more minute today than yesterday. If you want to exercise, maybe you do 1 more push-up. It is a tiny, tiny change. It is so small that it feels easy to do. It does not feel like a big effort. This is the key. It has to be small enough that you can do it without much struggle. Now you might think, 1%? That's nothing. How can that help me? It is true that on its own, a 1% improvement is hardly noticeable. If you get 1% better today, you will not see a big difference tomorrow. But the magic happens over time. Think about it like this. If you get 1% better every day for a year, the change is huge. It is like a snowball rolling down a hill. It starts small, but it gets bigger and bigger as it rolls. This is called compounding. Small improvements compound over time. Often we set ourselves very big goals. We say, I want to lose 20 kilograms, or I want to write a book, or I want to learn a new language. These are great goals to have. They give us direction, but sometimes these big goals can feel too far away. They can feel overwhelming. When a goal is too big, it is hard to know where to start. And if we do not see progress quickly, we can lose motivation. We might think, this is too hard, and then we stop trying. This is a common trap. Instead of focusing only on the big, distant goal, it is often better to focus on small wins. Small wins are little successes you can achieve every day. For example, instead of focusing on losing 20 kilograms, you could focus on drinking an extra glass of water today, or walking for 10 minutes. These are small, achievable actions. When you achieve them, you feel good. You feel a sense of accomplishment. This feeling is important. It motivates you to keep going. Each small win builds your confidence. Small wins are more effective because they create momentum. Think of it like pushing a car. At first, it is very hard to get the car moving. One of the best ways to make these small, 1% improvements stick is to use a method called habit stacking. This sounds a bit complicated, but it is actually very simple. Habit stacking means you connect a new habit you want to build with an old habit you already do every day. We all have many habits we do without thinking, like brushing our teeth, making a cup of tea, or putting on our shoes before we leave the house. These existing habits are strong foundations for new ones. The idea is to use the end of an existing habit as a trigger for your new, small habit. For example, let's say you want to start a habit of doing a few stretches each morning. You already have a habit of making coffee every morning, so you can stack the new habit onto the old one. Section 5. Your health. Getting better bit by bit. Let's think about how you can use the 1% rule for your health. Many people want to be healthier. They want more energy, or to lose some weight, or to feel stronger, but often they try to change too much at once. They start a very strict diet or a very intense exercise plan. This can be hard to keep up. Soon they feel tired or deprived and they go back to their old ways. A better way is to make small, 1% improvements each day. These small changes are easier to stick with. For example, if you want to eat more healthily, you don't need to change everything you eat today. Start with one small thing. Maybe today, you add 1 extra vegetable to your dinner. Just 1. That is your 1% improvement. Tomorrow you can do it again. Or maybe you choose to drink one less sugary drink today. That is also a small, positive change. These tiny adjustments might not seem like much, but over weeks and months, they add up to a much healthier diet without feeling like a huge sacrifice. What about exercise? Again, start small. Section 6. Learning more, one small piece at a time. Learning new things is exciting. It can open up new opportunities and make life more interesting. Maybe you want to learn a new language or a musical instrument or a skill for your job. But sometimes, the idea of learning something big can feel daunting. You might not know where to start, or you might worry that it will take too much time. This is where the 1% rule can be incredibly helpful. You can break down any learning goal into tiny, manageable daily actions. Imagine you want to learn to play the guitar. Instead of trying to practice for an hour every day from the start, which can be hard to fit in, aim for a 1% improvement. Your small step today could be to just learn one new chord, or to practice strumming for just 5 minutes. That is it. It is a small commitment. It is easy to achieve. Tomorrow, you can review that chord and maybe try to learn another one. Section 7. Making your work shine, slowly but surely. The principle of 1% daily improvement can also make a big difference in your work or career. Whether you want to be more productive, get better at a specific skill, or improve your relationships with colleagues, small, consistent changes can lead to significant advancements. Often we look for a big promotion or a major project to make our mark, but the foundation for such achievements is often built through daily habits and minor enhancements in how we approach our tasks. Consider your daily tasks at work. Is there one small thing you could do to be more efficient? Section 8. The amazing journey of tiny improvements. We've seen how small, 1% improvements can help in many areas of life, from your health to your learning and even your work. The real power of this idea is not in any single action. It is in the consistency of these actions over a long period. It is a journey, not a race. Each tiny step forward might feel insignificant on its own. You might not see dramatic results immediately. This is normal. It is important to trust the process and keep going even when the changes seem small. Think about a ship changing its course by just 1 degree. Close to the shore, the change in direction is barely noticeable, but over a long journey across the ocean, that 1 degree change can mean arriving at a completely different continent. Your life is like that long journey. The small daily adjustments you make, your 1% improvements, are like that 1 degree change in course. Over months and years, these tiny shifts will guide you to a very different and hopefully much better destination. Section 9. Start your 1% change right now. The concept of improving by 1% each day is simple, but its effects are profound. We have talked about how big changes often come from small, consistent actions. We have seen how this applies to health, learning, and work. The most important thing to remember is that you do not need to wait for the perfect moment to start. You do not need a grand plan. You just need to begin with one very small change today. Right now, if possible. So, what is one tiny thing you can do today to be 1% better? Think about an area of your life you would like to improve. It could be anything. Maybe you want to feel less stressed. Your 1% improvement could be to take just 3 deep breaths right now. Or perhaps you want to connect more with family. Your small step could be to send a short, kind text message to someone you care about. It does not have to be complicated. In fact, the simpler it is, the better. The power is in starting.